Nika, these people didn't know each other, but now they're all sharing one thing.
A simple hope to get here where Lee County gives that COVID-19 vaccine. Appointments are rare, hard to get, but I learned today, even in that deep frustration, you can make a friend.
Hi, Brian. I'm Brent.
Hey, Brett. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Brian?
Yes.
Brian Douglas and Brent Williamson started the call as strangers.
Where do you live, Brian?
Cape Coral. This is Nilda, my wife.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Same.
Nice to see you, Brett. Hope you get through.
But these
I got through
strangers share something with so many of you. They believe their lives are on the line.
I have multiple sclerosis, so for me, the vaccine is really important because
Of course.
I'm immunosuppressed, and if I get the virus, I'm dead.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Brett. I'm with you.
And they've tried to call for a vaccine before.
I carried my phone with me. I carried it to bed. I carried,
That's what I've been doing.
But we're trying, Brian. That's all we can do.
Today at noon, the two were back to dialing for their lifeline again.
57, countdown to destiny. 11:58.
But this time, they did so together.
Please try again later. We are unable to complete the call.
And together, they shared their immediate disappointment.
Have you even got it to ring?
We just keep getting the unable to complete the call, busy, whatever.
No more appointments this time. But when things are the worst, we sometimes find the best in each other.
Hope is a good thing. You don't ever want to give up hope. If one of us gets the vaccine, we got to go out and have dinner and celebrate.
We will. We'll stay in touch.
And in our newfound friends.
I didn't get the vaccine today, but I made a new friend.
Yes, you did.
It was a pleasure to spend time with those people, even if it was on Zoom. Now, I know many of you told me that you got through, even started to give your information, then got cut off. The county told me that you will actually need to try again next time. Let me tell you about the kindness we've seen here in line. One couple just handed out warm cups of coffee to everyone bundled up here. The first few in line told us everyone here didn't know each other, certainly never saw each other, but over these 10 months, they've been together in a horrifying, isolating experience. Tonight, they're together in hope. In the line for vaccines, it's folding chairs, snacks, and quiet conversations. This is what you hear.
A friend of mine that died from the virus, and that was a horrible way to learn that, oh yeah, this virus is for real. And
for Kit Kirkessner, the chance to get the vaccine feels unreal.
Governor DeSantis, when he did the 65 and over thing, he's got my vote for life. I don't know what more to tell you.
Kirkessner will tell you he and Mark Langamo are now lifelong friends. It's a bond built long before they stepped in line.
And I can't imagine this Christmas the number of young people that didn't have a grandmother or a grandfather or a parent at Christmas time. And for our precious 8 grandkids, I didn't want to be one of them.
He's here to make sure the love of his life won't be one of them either.
I've been concerned about her every day. And this is a major step in terms of being able to protect her.
Protection. That's what Frank Mahalik hopes he can do for his 81-year-old sister.
Well, she can't stay overnight, obviously. She can't stay overnight.
I just can't.
And so I'm willing to stay overnight for her.
Can't sit in the cold for hours, but can't go on without the vaccine.
Oh, God, I'm scared. That's why, and I want to be free.
For Gail and James Krause, the vaccine will free them from months of fear.
Life, just knowing now that we have a chance at life, because, I'm 75, she's 74, so we'd like to have a few more years.
James beat lymphoma. No way will he give up a chance at normal life now.
I knew I was going to die, is basically, just accept it, and that's the way it's going to be.
No one here will give up, so they wait.
It's precious to be here, to be able to do this.
Just happy to be here. Happy to get the shot.
So many emotional stories. And Anika, it is tough sometimes to social distance when these lines pile up. Is the county doing anything to make that go a little smoother?
The county did tell us they're working to get social distancing signs up and better manage these lines. We also asked, will just 300 people get vaccinated at each site? That may change, as we have seen every day as well, they told us, depending on supplies. The county says it's also working on an online reservation system, but it's taking time because they want to ensure the site won't crash. The county also asked that if you don't plan to be in Lee County for your second dose, please don't get the first one. But we do know changes can come week to week. Here they use a website to register people for the vaccine, and when that website opened up on Wednesday, it crashed and about 1,000 people managed to register for appointments that just weren't available, and that created a whole new problem. Today was NILDA Rodriguez's big day. Vaccine appointment, 11 a.m.
When I got to the ladies that check you in, she says, we can't find you. And I said, what do you mean you can't find me?
Rodriguez showed the ladies her confirmation email, but they still turned her away.
She says, you're just sorry, but we don't have you. We have enough for the people that we have on the list.
But Rodriguez wouldn't leave. She kept begging, pleading for her shot. Why does that mean so much to you?
Because of how I feel and what I have. You know, if I was healthy, I wouldn't care. But I'm 77. Like I said, I have a pacemaker. I also have had too many strokes. So I have to be extra careful.
Finally, Rodriguez told me a kind woman with the health department made sure she got the injection. Made sure she didn't go home without hope.
But I am thankful that I got in and I got my vaccine, and I encourage everyone to get it.
And that's what's really sad about it. You know, there's going to be that story that guy's going to have that, or his wife's going to have, or his husband's going to have. He tried to call, she tried to call 2 weeks ago, has got it and didn't make it. That's sad.
Is that what you're thinking of? Is that in the back of your mind every day?
It's in the back of my mind, you know, that, I mean, sorry. No, it's, sorry. I've had 5 friends die. So, sorry. No, just give me a minute. No, I've had 2 people at my church go. I've had 3 of my retired teacher friends. Contrary to anybody who thinks this is made up, it's a real thing. But think about this. Your kids try to call and they don't get through, and then their dad dies. And that's happening in America. When you actually know someone who passes away, it affects you. It's hard at this point to know people who it hasn't touched. As an example, I had one person in my church that everybody was praying for. Mm-hmm. You know, and it was like, oh, he battled for a long time. But even now with everything that they know, there are still people passing away. So
that's hard. That's really hard. You're a strong man for sure. And they were all lucky to have a friend like you.
Well, you know, it's one of those things, you know, you say your prayers for people, and you can't, when people get the virus, you can't go talk to them. I mean, you want to give people a hug, but you know, when you pass, you want someone to hold your hand.
Through it all, he and almost all of you I've spoken with have thought of each other. The other person on the phone, on the computer, Brent told me today if he didn't get the vaccine today, someone else who desperately needed it did. Live in the newsroom, Anika Henniger, Wink News now.
It's so painful and so raw. I mean,
and he's just remarkable in so many ways, but to be able to have that attitude about not getting it and that somebody else that needed it did.
I know, amazing.
It's amazing.
The first time Lee County opened up appointments, he called 500 to 600 times, and he'll be at it again tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp just to get his mother-in-law 15 minutes here to get that vaccine. She's 99 years old and missing out on her greatest joy. No vaccine means no birthday party for Peg Paschke. 8 kids, 17 grandkids, 9 great-grandkids, not one grandma hug this past year.
It's important that you get the vaccine so you can see the family.
Yes. Yeah, that's the real reason.
You could say she's earned a party.
How do you feel about turning 100?
I'll tell you when I get there. First, I have to make it. You know, every day is another day.
Every day is another day for Peg to maybe, just maybe, get a vaccine.
The system they have right now is broken. It's completely broken.
If her son-in-law, Leo Trudeau, can get a call through.
It's hard on everybody, but myself, I can wait for my vaccine. Let's get the elderly taken care of. It's got to happen.
He's called and called and called and called and heard nothing. It pains him so much.
We actually drove to one of our niece's houses last month, and they stood there crying. It shouldn't be that way. It's got to change.
Peg's birthday is a month away. It's a change that's got to happen soon.
Tomorrow morning we'll be on the phone at 9 o'clock. And if we can get it, we'll feel better.
When something is unfamiliar and scary, we either don't try or we find the gumption to do it.
I let fear stop me from doing something because I think, oh, I'm not sure I can do that.
And sometimes when we try,
we actually make it harder on ourselves because I think of that fear and apprehension.
A lot of us are like Gina, who got scared at the thought of using EVENTBRITE to make a vaccine appointment. But she found, studied, and followed those instructions.
And I started getting emails from other people, like just scrolling emails with ticket number, with different names.
Those instructions Gina found were for EVENTBRITE organizers. By following them perfectly, Gina set up her own vaccine appointment event. Dozens signed up in seconds. Then dozens lashed out.
How could you do this to, seniors? And I wrote back, I was heartbroken. I said, I'm a senior too. I wouldn't dare hurt anyone.
She wasn't trying to deceive seniors. She is one. Gina got that event taken down.
And I thought, oh my God, why didn't that hit me?
Why didn't she realize she wasn't making an appointment? She doesn't have an answer.
It's a learning experience in many ways.
If this pandemic's taught us anything, we're all learning, a lot like Gina.
Anika, these callers who want this vaccine shouldn't give up hope.
Not at all. More vaccine is coming, meaning more appointments will open as soon as this week. In time, the hope is everyone will get the chance to come here to get that much desired shot in the arm. The company in charge of appointments told us they averaged 50,000 calls a minute today. If you get through, do not hang up. Listen to the message on the line, and when prompted, leave your name and number, and you will get a call back, they said. In fact, operators will keep calling back people tonight until 8 o'clock, but if you just hang up because of the long wait, you will lose your place in line. Here's what you told us that line was like today.
It's extremely nerve-wracking, extremely nervous.
That was kind of frustrating for us was when we were trying to call back, we get messages that this number is no longer in service, or it might ring 4, 5, even 6 times, and then it would cut out on you.
35 times. You called 35 times.
On that, and 35 to 40 on two other phones.
So you called over 70 times.
For close to 100.
She's not alone, with 1,000 people to get the vaccine tomorrow and 2,000 the next day and the following. The county said even with an appointment, there may be a bit of a wait. They told us to show up about 45 minutes early and to bring an ID. But remember, this is just the first of what figures to be many chances to get that vaccine.
All that vaccine was delayed because of the storm, Anika. Has it arrived finally, and is the health department making first dose appointments again?
The vaccine is here, 7,500 shots worth here in Lee County for first doses this week. But don't sit by the phone. The county's already scheduled people to receive them. Some people got them today. Some more will get them tomorrow.
So today, Publix only offered local appointments in DeSoto County, and those went fast. So how come no appointments for Lee, Collier, and Charlotte?
I asked Publix that question, and the answer is not going to satisfy everyone watching. The grocery chain told me that not every county or every store, for that matter, will show up every time you log on, but you should see your home county at least once per week. In fact, Publix recommends checking out nearby counties and driving to where the shots are available.
And our date of birth? July 15, 1921.
Billy Pennings has made the most of all her 99 years. A radio operator on a Norwegian ship in World War II, becoming one of the first and few female merchant marines.
Of being afraid because I just didn't think about it. I think when you're young, you don't. You know, it's always going to happen to somebody else.
Pennings survived the threat of typhoons and war. Now, she simply wants to see her family.
But when you start getting up into the 99s and 100s, you know your lifespan is measured in months, not years anymore.
Every day Pennings goes without a shot, it's another precious day without seeing family and friends who love her.
To wait like everybody else.
Her son has tried, like so many sons and daughters, to help their parents get a vaccine appointment. He just can't do it.
She's done a lot of things, and it would be absolutely horrible to lose her because I couldn't get a vaccine.
Friday afternoon, Parker tried a phone number set up for veterans of World War II and the Korean War unable to travel to get the vaccine.
And they're out giving shots, so certainly sooner than later, Mama.
Some hope for this mom and son in the precious meantime. Most of the people here told me they're busy. Most of the people vaccinated here today work along Fifth Ave in one of the businesses here. They're chefs, waiters, and hosts, and they came to this theater where the clinic was set up today because they told me the shots came to them. The vaccine is important to Frank Reed, but a paycheck is too.
I shouldn't have came here because I was on the clock at work and stuff, you know, but I was just curious what I had to do.
This vaccine clinic along Fifth Ave in Naples was set up just for hardworking people like Reed.
I have 3 jobs.
You do a little bit of everything, okay.
Yeah, except cook and stuff. I don't know how to cook and stuff, you know. If you ask me to make you a bowl of cereal, I'm the guy.
Hospitality workers came right out of work, rolled up their sleeves, and got the shot.
This was so convenient. There was no way I could, get out of not getting a shot if it's right across the street from where you work.
But not everyone is as excited as Reed. In Lee County, starting 2 weeks ago, only half of first dose appointments filled up. 3,000 appointments available, only 1,500 will get booked, meaning there's plenty to go around.
People take things, so lightly, and when you reach my age and stuff, you don't take things for granted.
I continue to ask Lee County about his situation and yours. So many people who stood in line to get the first dose of the vaccine never got a call to get the second. I suggested he reach out to the company in charge of appointments, and his persistence paid off. How one phone call can change your world.
I would have never got it. It's fantastic. That I can't believe it.
Thomas Silver, a few hours ago, was hardly holding on to hope.
I never got a text. I never got an email. I never got anything. It's like I didn't exist.
It felt impossible to get an appointment for a second dose of vaccine.
We're dealing with it, but I'd like to get the second shot and nobody can give me the answers.
We, as in the wife of 32 years he couldn't go see. She lives in another state. They got separated when the pandemic hit. That second dose, the only thing now keeping them apart.
It's not easy, and really, you're by yourself down here.
He won't be alone much longer. Silver just booked a second shot appointment, a whopping dose of hope.
The 28th, next Thursday at 3:15.
Yeah, how are you feeling right now?
Good. And relieved.
Well,
I would have never got it.
It was him and a phone for far too long. Now joy is here. Being together is not far off.
You know, whether I fly or drive, I don't know yet. But at least I know I can go back and everybody will be safe.
So happy for him. And for those looking to get a vaccine appointment through Publix, set your alarm. You can log on to schedule appointments starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Those appointments are for this Saturday, and they go fast.
All right.
So nice that Anika could help.
Yeah.
So many of these people need just that little extra push.
It's nice to hear a good success story there. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
we're glad to be able to tell it.
What's the key to success?
There's no one trick, no silver bullet. I wish there was, but we all know this whole sign-up situation, it's technical. What's important is that you have the right tools, they're working well, and you use them the right way. Winning a vaccine appointment, it's a virtual game. You want to at least know you're playing your cards right. So we asked everyone involved, and everyone who scored an appointment, how'd you do it?
It's simply being persistent, not only about getting through, but making sure your details are right and that you get the confirmation.
For Publix and EventBrite, get on the fastest Wi-Fi or internet connection you can. As for internet browsers, Publix says Apple Safari, Google Chrome, and Microsoft Edge work best. EventBrite recommends Google Chrome or Firefox.
If you're using like an iPad or an old computer and you're trying to get the login thing, it's too slow.
Another piece of advice, 6 a.m. means 6 a.m. What you should do is type in the web address and at 6 a.m. open the page. On Collier's EventBrite page, refresh the page to see reopened appointments.
Ask a neighbor who's got fast internet.
Back in Lee County, pay attention to all the changes. It's pre-registration now.
It's important not to despair. And if you have techie friends or relatives, get them to help you.
They or you can do it online at myvaccinefl.gov. Or better yet, you can do it over the phone, 866-200-3468. You only get to talk to a real person once you get a call back, though.
Hang in there is my biggest piece of advice. And don't give up.
Another big piece of advice I got from people who got an appointment: if you have good internet and have the time, once you get through, help someone else out. It's important to know not everything works in every situation, but hopefully some of this advice helps out.
The county says that you need to be patient because there are thousands of people they have to call.
6,000 people to be exact. Lee County, starting with those of you who got your first shot between December 28th and 30th. I've heard from so many of you saying, no one's called me yet. The county told me operators are working through the database and they will get to you. Gail and James Krause earned their first dose of the vaccine after a 14-hour wait at Lakes Regional Library. Weeks later, more stress, more worry, waiting for the call to get that second dose.
When your appointment time were and so on. So
Every time the phone goes off, just both of your eyes like.
Well,
That's honest. That's how we're feeling.
Hope and worry, worry and hope.
They'll text us and then they'll call 3 times. And if we don't pick it up the third time they try, we're out. So we're keeping the phones close today.
yeah.
Their phones charged, but the wait is emotional.
You know, how am I doing? I feel like I'm a ping pong ball getting knocked around, and I get really irritated when people are messing around with people's medical needs.
Sally Harrison Pepper and her husband Andy, 35th in line at the very first vaccination site, still waiting on their second dose call. A painful wait for many reasons.
It's agony, actually. It's more than pain. It's agony.
Sally has lupus. Andy is off his immunosuppressants until his second dose.
I have to keep saying, Andy, sit down. Andy, lie down. Andy, don't pick that up. Don't try to carry that. Don't. And, you know, he wants to be whole.
So many of you feeling less than whole until you get that second shot. The call should come anytime today, Saturday or Sunday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you have a cell phone, you should get a text message to warn you the call's coming, and you'll get 3 chances to answer the call. If at all possible, check the settings on your phone to make sure unknown callers get through and are not blocked. It's not just a missed call. Not for any of you in need of a second dose of vaccine. Not for Suzanne Melfi.
We haven't seen my son in a year and a half. He lives in New York, so he can't come down here.
The truth is, Suzanne made every desperate attempt to answer the call, from the number that keeps going straight to voicemail and doesn't accept callbacks.
Very grateful to get the first one. And I'm just beside myself that, you know, we're not going to be able to get it.
We know so many of you feel the same way. Verizon told us how you can fix this. Remember that number, the one the vaccine appointment operators are calling you from? You can take that and add it to your contact list, just like any new phone number. Another way, check for the Verizon Call Filter app, especially if you have an Android. Open it, tap the Management tab at the bottom. Under Spam Filter, tap Allowed Numbers List. Here is where you grab that phone number, add it, and name it so you know to answer. Verizon says this should work to hopefully answer this call and hang up on all the stress.
It's tremendously stressful. Suzanne has broken out in crying fits and all that. She don't want me to say that, but apparently, you know, that's what we're dealing with. It's really affecting our well-being, our health.
Are they going to be able to handle all the number of cars and people?
I just got an email from Lee County that says it will, as many as 10,000 shots a day. That means come April 12th, this parking lot will be full, not empty like it is now. That's good news for people who want to not wait in the heat and brave the rain to get a vaccine. The fans aren't enough. The tents just won't cut it. Not in Southwest Florida's summers anyway.
When I came for my first shot, it just poured down raining out here. We're wading through water to get through here.
Steve Giese already braved the wind and water to get a needle in his arm, but he didn't feel bad for himself. No.
People in wheelchairs and walkers and family helping them, crutches, it was all here.
The people helping at the vaccination site by the airport, Giese says, are amazing, but they can't stop the weather, can't stop summer's heat.
Oh, it would, especially for older people, that heat is very difficult.
So the Department of Health is making a change, closing up this vaccine site and opening a new one at the old Sears at the Edison Mall. Safe from rain and sun and heat. Lots of parking and public transportation available. So you can get a shot and get one step closer to safety from something we may soon be able to stop.
Oh, it's pretty wonderful and liberating, and just there's no worry. I think I'm in good health, but you never know. Some people I've known in good health are gone.
That's the grim reality for some people, and that's why Steve hopes this site change will allow more people to get the vaccine. It's closer to neighborhoods in North Fort Myers and Cape Coral. Now, if you got your first dose at the old airport site between March 18th and March 30th, you should be getting a call to schedule your second dose right here.